Oh man, Dave. You look. I mean, I hate to call you out, but you look and sound exasperated.
Man.
What is going on?
John, I just got back from the store looking for a greeting card. And none of the cards look like they would ever be coming from me. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, Dave, hey.
What? What?
Calm down. It sounds like you need to take a look at Paperwork.
Oh.
Okay? Have you heard of them?
No.
Well, let me tell you about them. Paperwork helps guys share things that matter with the people that matter. Paperwork designs cards that reflect the sensibilities, strengths, and sense of humor of thoughtful guys just like you.
Oh,
See, you're already calmed down.
I love it. I love it, John. Paperwork makes it easier to be intentional. I do actually know about it.
Yeah, you said you didn't.
With February just around the corner, a better half pack from Paperwork not only gets you your Valentine's card taken care of, but all the other occasions you need to cover throughout the year.
That's right. Birthday, Valentine's, anniversary. Thank you. You name it.
Yeah.
Okay, that way you stick them in your sock drawer.
Ooh.
You're always ready for what's coming up,
Always.
saving a last-minute trip to the store.
Also, every pack comes with a quote-unquote use your words guide to help you with tips and prompts for writing more meaningful notes.
Visit www.paperwork.press to get yours and use promo code DADS for 10% off your order.
I couldn't wait any longer. Yeah. The people.
Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with
Dave and me. Does your mind immediately go to Michael J. Fox?
Wow.
Mine goes to Michael J. Fox. Do I have to explain that? Back to the Future 2?
Oh, is it
just future? It's not the exact. I think 2015.
This is already my favorite.
So it's like a thermos.
It's roughly the size.
We haven't got any better at this. Just so you guys know.
If anybody's wondering, if we took our break to really just hone our craft, you were hearing immediately.
No, we were just resting.
We were just resting and getting worse.
Now we just have more energy to do the same thing. Anyway, when I said 2025 seems crazy to me, and I immediately picture Michael J. Fox. It's futuristic. It's
yeah.
We're 10 years past the year that he went to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we don't have hoverboards. We don't have the shoes that self-buckle or self-tie.
Yeah.
I think I'm like ready for this year. I feel like 2024 was great in a lot of ways, hard in a lot of ways, and I'm ready to all right, let's sort of head off into the Michael Johnson. So
let's get to Michael Jackson. He's such a fast runner.
He is.
For those
so
who don't
fast.
know, he was the Olympic gold medalist in 90-something in the 1900s.
In 1900s, which is what it feels like so far with how good we are at this, or how long it's been since we've done this.
Now, is that how you always feel going into New Year's?
I'm pretty. I'm
optimistic.
I like the refresh.
It's probably. I have no data for this, but I would imagine it's probably the most optimistic day of the year. Don't you think?
Yeah.
There's something
my
about
birthday?
Yeah. Sorry, did I
feels like
not
a
say
weird
we're
jump.
switching to your birthday now?
When is this coming out?
Yeah, we're going to vault this for 6 months.
No, I agree. You know, the other funny thing is I saw Acuff, our dear friend John, posted about I think quit day is January. Did you see this 8th or something?
Second.
It's like a week. It's a little more than a weekend. I forget what the day is where everybody officially 90% of people are I can't do this anymore. But man, the first, that's a big
day. Which is funny because it's all. I'm not to be that guy that gets all weird, but it's all a construct. We've all made it all up.
Yeah.
The months. All that, we've got 12, whatever. And we're but there's something about this is the day that we start afresh.
Yeah.
and anything is possible.
Yeah.
We could be different people this year.
Well, I think, I think for me this year, as much as any, I feel like there's some pretty significant things that are not change, and that sounds way too dramatic, but like, like last year, an easy example is last year, like I played a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm.
This year, that's not the plan.
Yeah.
So just that, just kind of like, oh, that takes a chunk of my time that won't be taken this year.
Yeah.
So there's, and there's a lot of other things too, but I think like, this year coming into it it's very wide and open, and I'm kind of, I'm a little terrified by that, but I'm also excited, and I'm already naturally, I'm just kind of, I like New Year's. I like resolutions. I like sort of like, okay, here we go, let's go. So, I do tend to sort of get up for,
Are you somebody who has your resolutions ready? You've been thinking about them, and you've got them ready to go.
It's funny. This year is the first year. I feel like you're really good about this kind of stuff. You're much more intentional around this stuff, I think, than I am with like daily practices and disciplines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, on the first, I actually sat down. I don't know the last time I've done this, and like journaled about last year, like kind of ups and downs. Because God gave us that for that. God gave me you for that, actually.
That song's about me.
I was pointing at Annie in the house.
Oh, okay. Just past me.
And but man,
I didn't see her standing out there in the yard.
She's waving. She's cold
so
too.
Cold out
so
there.
Cold. But I cued her.
You can go inside, Annie.
Yeah,
that was your moment.
That's good. No, but I think like I was like, what were things last year? Last year it just felt like there was a lot that I learned last year.
Yeah.
A lot, as much as any year I think in a long time. And so I just thought I want to make sure I remember this. And so it was kind of like, what were some good things? What were some hard things? And then a little bit of like kind of what I am hoping for this year, which I just don't. I mean, I have resolutions. Like I always love weird. Like this year, I'm not doing soft drinks. I was just like, I'm off the soft drinks. Like that kind of stuff is fun. I like little weird challenges like that.
How difficult is that going to be for you? You've done that before in the past.
Yeah, I did. Well, I did it when I love a random New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
like I love that. That's like one of my favorite things.
For just the challenge of it.
Just the fun of like, oh, I wonder if I can do that every day.
Yeah.
And usually, like it's been all over the place over the years. But I did this one. It was probably a decade ago that I was like, I'm going to stop drinking soft drinks, and it turned into like 5 or 6 years where I didn't drink any. And then I've sadly been off the wagon for a while.
It's been
everybody knows. And so this year I was like, I want to kind of do that. So I love those, but I think also that I haven't done this kind of thing where I sat down and was like, okay, what are like some things I want to be thinking about? And then I would say, especially looking back at last year, thinking like, what were some of the things I want to remember that I learned, and what was hard, and what I want to think about. So I was really proud of myself. Like I stood up after dinner. I was like, look at me. I'm like a grown up. I was like, I'm doing like this really intentional thing.
Yeah.
Do you do that? I feel like.
No, I mean, it's interesting hearing you say that you think that I'm good at that. And maybe there's a different angle that you're looking at it. I mean, when you look at like a daily practice.
Yes.
That sort of daily self-discipline. And this has definitely not always been the case for me, but I do feel like I am pretty good at that.
Yes.
I
think you're maybe.
I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not like giving myself an undue pat on the back here.
No.
There are things that are difficult for me, and there are areas of life that aren't as difficult.
Yeah.
I can get up at 4:30 in the morning and go, swim. Whereas some people are like, I could never do that. But am I as disciplined at sitting down at the piano and just trying to write a song every single day? No, that's harder for me. I would rather get up and go swim. You know what I mean?
But I think all that said, you are definitely in the top 5% of my friends who have that kind of discipline. I mean, I know like you doing your yoga in the morning, you're stretching in the morning, like every morning, like meditation in the morning. Now you're doing.
I don't do that every morning now.
Yeah.
But
well, we know. And
it shows.
Let's have Amy come in. I mean, she's going to talk to you about that %. But I think those things. And then also, I think those seasons that I love so much where you are practicing a piece. Like you're really good about every day I'm sitting at. So I think you do that a lot better than you probably perceive that you do. And I would say when I think of all the people I know, like my friends, you are very much in the smallest percentage of people who even have like a daily discipline or have some, dare I say, like weekly thing where it's like, I'm going to sit down for X amount of time, today and do that. So it's interesting that you don't. So you do. I think you're funny because it's like you're not someone that does it, but you do it. You're not someone that sits down on the first and goes, "Okay, this year I'm going to learn, this piece," but you'll still do it, and then you'll be disciplined about it.
Well, the thing that I feel when it comes to like December 31st on any given year, I feel the pressure to have. I'm sure a ton of people feel this way. It's like it's almost New Year's, and you're like, I need I need to have something. What are my goals?
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life? I feel that. But the thing that it's like a boring answer that no one wants to hear when you're like, okay, what are your resolutions? I feel like a lot of time I'm like, I just kind of want to keep this thing going.
Yeah, that's great.
But I do feel like this year I did have some things, some sort of course correction things on a more kind of macro scale. But in terms of like the day-to-day and all that, I love it. I love I mean, you're a very routine kind of guy, as am I. And I love every second of it. I love it so much.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm telling you, I think I don't know if you can know that about yourself because there's no, like, what do you juxtapose that against? But I mean, I look at people I know and I'm like, I mean, you would maybe be the most of my friends. Like that's rhythmic, scheduled.
You said 5%, and I don't.
I'm so slow. Well, the more I think,
I don't know how I get to that top.
Figure out who are the other people even in that 5%. I'm sure there's friends that do, but I can't think of many that are as disciplined rhythmically as you are.
Yeah. Well, I think we're the same in that regard. In the area where I need to step it up is work in a way, which it's a little more nuanced than that. Like if Amy were here, she would be like, "You work very hard. You work very hard." But honestly, the actual creating, like right now, before we started recording, you were saying how you're in a great rhythm right now with writing. And this is something that you do very, very well. Maybe you are maybe the most disciplined of anyone I know in terms of like just getting back here and working and creating. And you also, I mean, you can acknowledge that the blank page, it's not like the blank page is just welcoming you in. I mean, the blank page is so hard. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
You got to create something, But you seem to be that, like the distance from your house to your studio is just the straightest of straight lines.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the distance from my house to my little studio is so. It's like there are obstacles and mountains I got to climb over just to get back there and just start. And I'm only speaking specifically of writing a song.
Yeah.
If it's anything else, I'm like you're saying with like pieces and stuff like that. That's not so much self-discipline. That's more obsession. I get obsessed with them, and then I'll get back there at 4 a.m. and I'll be trying to.
Well, that's how I feel about writing.
Yeah,
I feel the same way,
and I can feel that way when I've got something going.
Yeah,
but man, oh man, I don't know why that is.
Yeah,
but starting, just getting back there and just starting.
Well,
just
you know what I wonder? I wonder if my first real love with all of this was writing. Yeah, and I think your first love was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for me, that same passion that pulled me into this thing was the songs. Yeah. And then everything else iterated out of that. And I think that's probably the same with you and playing. And then and so for me, home base, sort of where I feel the most compelled and invested and interested is the song part of it. That's where I'm like obsessed and I can't get enough of it. And then the playing and everything sort of moves out of that, where I wonder if that's the same, for you. where it's like,
the only thing that I agree with you. The thing that I wish were true about me, in a way, it would make the day-to-day easier for me. I wish, as accomplished as I feel after I learn some piece, I love it. And I have like moments that I can remember where I'm like, I am playing the piece memorized for the first time, and the feeling is amazing. But it's not as good as when you write a great song.
Oh, wow. That's just amazing.
And I wish that it were.
Yeah.
I wish,
but
because in the back of my mind, I know, like, that's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
You did it. But you didn't write a song.
Do you know what my favorite is? And it's the reason that I've had this little boom in writing is because I think I told you this, but when we were, I want to put out another Christmas EP. Like, I just kind of feel like it'd be fun to put out some more Christmas songs. And especially I feel like in a day and age where you just kind of can't put enough music out. I mean, that wasn't our beginnings at all. It was opposite, right? You know, like put your album out, tour it, let it sit, it'll build. Now it's just like the more music you can give people, the better.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just feel like it'd be fun to put out some Christmas songs. So, but I feel like, leading up to our Christmas rehearsal, I could not. I had ideas. I just was stuff. I was like, I just feel like I've done all this before. Like every idea I had in my phone, or that I'd started a little demo for, because so people probably don't know this. Every December, I try to just write Christmas songs. Like even if it's just starts, just little verse choruses or something, because I like doing it in the season. Like today, even though it's not Christmas, like a little snow on the ground. Yeah. It's like okay, you're kind of in the mood. And so everything I got to was I was like, I've done that. It was the most uninspiring couple of weeks in the beginning of Christmas. And then we did our rehearsal, and Lucy and everybody that did the cover songs, I started going, wait a second. Because, I naturally think of Christmas songs as like Bing Crosby and Nat King Cole and Harry Connick and Sinatra, that kind of jazzy thing that I've done my records around. And I was just like, everything I started was that. And I was like, I've just done this. Not to say I shouldn't do more. I nailed it, but I just done it. And then they started playing all these kind of like what I would call like extracurricular Christmas songs, like Jingle Bell Rock. And I was like, well, I haven't done that. Like, what about all the fun, quirky? And it was like all of a sudden some like vault opened in my brain, and I couldn't write fast enough. I mean, it was like, I don't know, other than the Featherbrain, that record, I don't know that I've been that inspired in my whole career. It was just like every time I sat back here, I'd start something, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And so some of that energy too is just when you've hit that thing and like, oh my gosh, I think I'm in the zone right now. I need to keep this thing going. And so some of it's that. I wish we could do that all the time, because when that feeling is just like, I mean, it is a drug of just, and it's so rare, especially I think the older you get, when you've done it as long as you and I have, to really find that little, that little pocket of gold nuggets that every time you dig, you hit one, which is the beginning of our careers. Like every song you wrote, you're like, oh my God, it's the best song ever. And so I think some of why lately it's felt like that was just because randomly, and I think I've always enjoyed writing so much when I have an idea of what I'm trying to accomplish. And I think once I went, there's so many songs that are Christmas classics that I haven't thought of as reference points. Yeah. And then it was like, oh my God, well, this is inexhaustible almost, because when the other ones were that sort of thing, that sort of jazzy thing. So, I think that's some of it too, is that, when you sort of find that little, and then you're like, okay, just go. Go.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, I'm happy that you, truly, I mean, I'm truly happy that you are in that space, because I know what that feels like. And I'm like, yes. There's a part of me that's like, I'm just glad it's still happening.
But you know what's so hard? There's insider baseball for everybody listening. If Mom, you're still there. Jason, enjoying this so far. Christmas, the only thing that's really hard is there was a very real feeling about the fourth song where I was like, kind of said this a little bit at this point. All these words are getting a little. That is one of the biggest drawbacks for Christmas music. Is there, which is I think what makes it fun.
It's a double-edged.
Oh my gosh,
because it sort of frees you up a little bit. Because you're like, I can say. You got your list of 18 terms.
Yes.
You're going to say mistletoe.
But man, holly. When you've written 4 songs in 2 weeks, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how else to say this than the way I said it in the last song.
I know when I'm putting together the set list for the Christmas shows, it's like, I mean, every title for the most part has Christmas in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, is this Christmas? No, this is Christmas. And then we'll do this Christmas. Wait.
Does
Christmas
he have a
time
speech,
is here?
something going on? This is Christmas. Is it this Christmas or this is? Is there an echo?
Christmas thesis.
Is it reverb? This is Christmas.
This is the Christmas thesis.
Well, it's funny because when I was writing these songs, I was looking at titles I had, and literally there's one of the songs called Next Christmas because there's a this Christmas and a last Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no next Christmas, so I'll write next Christmas.
What else could there be? This Christmas, last Christmas, next Christmas.
Those Christmases.
Those Christmases. These Christmases. There's Christmas. There's Christmas. Where's Christmas?
I mean, it's hysterical because, when you're writing for a genre like that, you really do start. I literally got on all the hit Christmas songs. I was like, what are titles? And I started laughing because I was like, Last Christmas?
Right.
This Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Next Christmas.
Yeah.
Which has probably been written. But anyway.
Hey, Dave.
Yes. Whoa. Gosh.
Sorry.
New Year's, new you. Am I right?
Yeah. It's 2025.
You're so excited.
Can you believe it's 2025? Listen, this year, I tell you this every year, but this one, for real.
Yeah.
There's nothing holding you back from loving your hair again.
And I appreciate it every time you remind me that. I've always loved my hair. So I know the best thing to do, John. Take Nutrafol, the one simple yet effective thing I can do for myself to be proactive about hair thinning.
Dave, I don't know if I've ever said this to you before, but that is a great decision. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding.
Physician-formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning, stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health.
With a Nutrafol subscription, building a hair growth routine is simple.
So easy.
I was going to say simple.
Okay.
This is my line.
Yep,
okay. Purchase online, no prescription required, automated deliveries, and free shipping keep you right on track.
Get results you can run your fingers through. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code DADVILLE.
Yeah. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com. That's spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code DADVILLE.
That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code
DADVILLE.
Johnny, you look so warm.
Oh, well, listen, Dave. With all this chilly weather out there, I will do anything to stay cozy. You know that about me. Yeah. I keep a hot drink beside my bed.
Yep.
Okay, a hot wife beside me.
Hey,
come on. My slippers on, and I always have the latest cold weather necessities made from premium materials from Quince.
That's right. Quince is the best, John. I also want to say I appreciate you no longer chasing our pets around the neighborhood.
I don't need them anymore. I've got Quince now.
Anymore. It scared us there for a minute. True quality, affordable price. I just grabbed Quince's iconic Mongolian cashmere sweater, which starts only at $50,
only
John.
$50 for a cashmere sweater. What is it, 1979? You know what? I also love Quince's super soft fleece sweatpants. Ooh. Oh my gosh, a major upgrade from my old sweatpants. I was going to
say the neighbors are talking, John.
Yeah.
Could you not mow
Not
those
anymore.
And put on a shirt. John, how does Quince do it? How do they keep prices 50 to 80% below similar brands?
Well, Dave, listen. Okay. They partner directly with top factories and cut out the cost of the middleman.
Oh, what a
but their stuff is so good, even the middleman still shops at Quince, despite his frustration about being left behind.
Oh my gosh, just like that book from the 90s. It's also good that Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel.
That's right. Listen, luxuriate in coziness without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/Dadville for a 365-day return. You heard me.
Wow.
365-day returns. If my math is correct, that's about a year.
Almost
plus
a year.
Free shipping on your order.
That's QUINCE.com/Dadville to get free shipping and 365-day returns, almost a whole year. Quince.com/Dadville. So when you think about 2025, what are you excited about? Or no, let's do highlights.
Highlights of 2024
before we get to 25.
Okay. I mean, just to stay on the subject, a major highlight for me was my hometown Christmas show.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. And last year in 2023 was the first year that I had played this room that I had been wanting to play for like 15 years. But it was it was in the middle of a tour, but the whole tour I was solo. And then this one show was with the band and with guests and stuff like that. And I'm sure you feel this way, you did Knoxville and Nashville. Having just one additional show with the band and all that made it, like we played up in Fort Wayne, Indiana at this great theater. It was a blast. But having done that, you kind of feel the show for the first time. Mm-hmm. You feel kind of like how quickly it goes, because it always goes quicker than you think. So then the next night to then come down to Carmel and play it at the Palladium, I was so relaxed. I had such a great time. It's maybe the most sort of in the moment and present that I've ever been at a show.
Wow.
That was sort of like a, like I've definitely experienced that in the past, but it's been sort of like random shows. And it's often the show after the show that had a lot of pressure on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And we're back.
Now,
Dave just had an amazing parenting moment with his son that the tears are barely dry on my cheeks. It was inspiring, educational.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was a big highlight.
Yeah.
The show. I loved it. And one of these years, we're going to not play our Christmas shows on the same night.
I know.
Because I would love for you to be a guest.
Yeah.
So that was a highlight. Maybe we'll go back and forth because I got to think of more highlights. I didn't really prep
for this.
Okay. Well, you had plenty of time. You had all year.
Do you have any more while I'm thinking?
Yes. I mean, it was such a great year. I have endless highlights, Dave. So I could do this for the rest of the episode. We did a family trip up to Montauk.
Yep.
That was a really, really great trip.
Yep.
That was that's maybe the most like restful family vacations. Maybe it was the first restful family vacation. Where was I? Oh yeah, Montauk.
Yep.
That was a great vacation.
We had I mean to follow you, we had some great trips. We did the Northeast in the summer, which was really fun. Saw the Red Sox. Went to
you went to Maine.
Yeah, and did kind of like the coast. It was so fun. That was really, really great. I think I'm trying to think of like we did a little graduation thing with Ben for his 6th grade. Now he's starting middle school. It was good. I mean, I think I think this year when I went to Belize with the church mission trip, which was great.
That's right.
I think like I don't know. I think 2024 for me is going to be. There was a very real. I was joking with a friend the other day. It felt like my James 1 year where I felt like God was just like, you've got some growth that you got to do, and this is going to hurt, but it's going to be really helpful in the long run. Mm-hmm. And I think like, so it's amazing things happen, and I'm not making light of a lot of really fun moments and times with the fam and stuff, but I think some of it is colored by just in a really good way now. At the time, it was really hard, but I think looking back, I'm like, there was just a lot of growth. It was a lot of like, I think just stuff that God was like, there's just some things we gotta work on, mm-hmm. and a lot of stretching and perseverance and learning how to endure and some frustrating moments. And on the other side of it's amazing, and I feel very much the effects of it. Like I have peace in places I didn't have before. I feel like I'm not as anxious about a lot of things, but it was like it just kind of it colored the whole year because it took the whole year. The one thing it was like, man, the fall I really was this was what I
right.
But it just like when I look at the whole year, it was just like it was laid over the whole year. This lesson that I was learning, and I'm really thankful for it. But I think that kind of colors so much of the year. You know, just kind of like seeing even in those highlights and low moments, like every bit of it had this, this tint over it. TINT of what God was doing, and which I'm really thankful for, but it's hard for me not to think of that stuff without the context of that being in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I feel similarly with 2024. It feels like at this point, I don't know what 25 and 26, 27 are going to look like, but it feels like 2024 for me as a parent was, like I don't even know what the word is. I was going to say a tough year, and it was, but tough is not that doesn't describe it as, accurately enough. It was just like, we're really in it. Like we're really dealing with our kids are becoming people.
Yep.
And they have, as it's supposed to happen, they have their lives outside of our house are growing and growing, and they're spending more time outside of their house, of our house. We all live together.
I was like, do they have real estate? I don't know about it.
Not anymore. It was just after the 2020.
Of course.
We had to downsize.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like we have transitioned into, like, we have an almost teenager. You have a teenager. But we both have middle schoolers.
Yeah.
It just feels like, okay, we are all these scenarios up to this point have been hypotheticals.
Yeah, that's really well said.
And like, how would you parent in this scenario? How would you parent in this scenario? We're getting to the point where it's like, no, we're in it.
No, we're here.
It just happened.
Yeah.
You just kind of say a prayer and do your best and go on with life, And it has really made everything just a little more intense, but in a good way, I think. Yeah. Like, I am definitely not asleep at the wheel. We are in it.
Yeah.
And it has made me, I'm always so grateful and just madly in love with my wife. But I am all the more just so grateful for her and our relationship. And it's like it's the thing that it's like a home base.
Yeah.
That is just, I don't know what I would do without her.
Yeah.
So yeah. And who knows what is going to come in the future. Maybe I'll be like, I don't even remember 2024 because 2025 was more intense. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it brings everything to the surface, and the sweet moments are really, really sweet, and you really cherish them because you don't know what's, the moods are swinging.
Yeah.
And you never know.
It's funny. When I think about 2025, I think, and I kind of journaled about this a little bit, but I think for me, and I would assume it's the same for you, like, I feel a very real sea change of like, oh, I'm like an adult now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the things, to your point, that you're dealing with, that we're dealing with, that I'm just dealing with my life, whatever. That was one of the things that I sort of found myself writing about, was this idea of like leaning in, like owning things a little more, like really trying to lean into whatever those things are. Because I think, like, if I'm not careful, I still think of myself as young in a lot of ways, kind of like inexperienced or without wisdom in certain things. And I think I can feel some of what I learned last year, honestly, was that that's just not true. Like, I'm 46, I'll be 47 this year. It's like, that's an age where you should be okay with sort of feeling like you've lived, you've been through some things, and so I think for me, it's kind of like you said, be it kids or my marriage or friendships or work or whatever. I'm like, I want to be a little more okay with going like, no, I think I have some thoughts around this, or like I may know how to do this, even though my brain, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like, well, no, hold on. You may know how to navigate that. Like you've lived some life, you've seen some things. And I think, also in a way of helping other people, just kind of like being able to take, we're at that age where younger people, especially in our industry, look up and go like, man, these guys have done it for a while. And it's still weird for me to think like that. It's like I still feel so young because there's so many people ahead of us.
Right.
That I feel like, no, those guys, they know what they're doing.
They're all dead now, dude.
You laugh, but I mean,
we're the elder.
So I think that's something when, kind of to your point about the kids and like you're not asleep at the wheel. I think that's something that I'm realizing for myself. I'm like, I'm kind of at the age now where that kind of, there's a responsibility to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But I think there's as much a responsibility I'm realizing to owning, having lived this long and what that means as opposed to like, oh no, like, just sort of, or gliding through or whatever that is, but just being a little more plugged in and realizing that there's experience that's come through things. And I want to be, I had a buddy, it was really cool. I had a buddy reach out to me and basically kind of challenge me that way, like in a really kind way of just saying, he said this and I don't, maybe I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but he just said, send pictures, but the nudes are too much. And I said, that's fair. Yeah. I thought we were different.
No, that was a copy paste. I got that too.
Okay, that might have been his resolution. I'm just gonna text all my friends.
He's like,
just
what? I'm just gonna go for it.
This really only affects one person, but I'm gonna send it to the whole thing. No, but he sent a really sweet message and just kind of said, I know so many people know you for your humor. And it was so out of nowhere and wonderful because it was something I was already thinking about. But he was like, I think, what would it look like for you to really own more of what you know and the wisdom you have as opposed to just being fun and characters. And he wasn't saying don't do that. But I think it really struck this real chord in me of like, again, just feeling like, that is a part of who I am too and what we do in Dadville or whatever. And so I don't know. It was cool to have that simpatico of that text from him of feeling like, oh, that's weird that I was already thinking about this and hear him say like, hey, why don't you share more of that stuff too?
Yeah.
With the world as opposed to just either just the music or like funny things.
Yeah.
What about thoughts you have about other things too? So I think that's something when I think about next year that kind of piggybacks your thought a little bit of just like, growing up and knowing that life is changing and everybody's sort of getting to these different
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave, it looks like you're taking all the bricks off your house.
Yeah. Well, listen, my pastor said for New Year's, he said, listen, it's time to tear down and to build back up next year. And so I'm 6 bricks in, which I've chipped off that. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
But I'm just being, he's every day. We want to tear it down and build it back up.
Okay. He may have been speaking like spiritually. Metaphorically.
That makes a lot more. Now that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like this is not going to be easy to maintain as a New Year's resolution.
You're right.
Let me tell you what will be easy to maintain.
What is it, John?
AG1, Dave. It's the easiest thing you can do for your health.
I don't say this a lot, but you're right, John. Not only that, I think I'm going to stack some of my habits instead of bricks with my daily AG1 to make each day 1% better. And John, what's the math on that?
Look, if you do that for 100 days, that's 100% better.
100% better.
I don't know if that math is correct.
I don't either. And it's easy. Once I take my AG1, I'm going to take a quick walk around the block just to get the juices flowing,
That's a
John.
great idea, and I don't say that to you lately. I think all my goals for this year tie into AG1 too, because AG1 gets me off to a great start.
They do.
Each and every morning. It gives me that energy that I need to improve.
To me, John, I love.
You were about to say I don't need to improve.
No.
Were you saying that?
No. Please don't hear what I'm not saying. To me, John, I love AG1 because it puts me in a healthy mindset. Each time I drink it, it reminds me I'm doing something to support my mind and body.
Well, listen, taking care of your health should not be complicated.
No.
AG1 simplifies it by covering all our nutritional bases and setting ourselves up for success in
How long,
just
John?
60 seconds, Dave.
Gosh.
I can do it in like 50
That's
seconds.
almost a minute. AG1's ingredients are heavily researched for efficacy and quality, and they work great.
We've partnered with AG1 for so long because they make such a high-quality product that we genuinely look forward to drinking every day out of the same glass.
And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift, John.
See?
No.
How many other companies would have stopped at 75?
No, and that's their 1%. Just that little extra, John. It's a $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box.
Think of all the places you could go.
God. So make sure to check out drinkag1/Dadville to get this offer.
That's drinkag1/Dadville to start your new year on a healthier note.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Oh, maybe Christmas break. Like, what were some, okay, for me, Christmas break, or any kind of break, is dicey for me. Even a weekend can be a little dicey for me. It's just the lack of structure.
Yeah.
You're out of your rhythm, which I know is so good to get out of your rhythm, but I can, I guess it's very. There's nothing unique about it. It's very maybe stereotypical guy or whatever, but it's like I like my rhythm, I like my thing, I like my routine. I also like knowing that I can kind of have control over that a little bit, as much as you can as a parent. So breaks can kind of be dicey for me. I have to tell myself.
I would love to know how and I don't know women, I'm not a woman. I would love to know dads. I would just love to know, like, what do you do on day 5 of Christmas break?
Yeah.
You've had the 3, you feel good, you've watched movies, you've done all the things, you're not working. Day, let's even say 10, where you're like, oh, yeah. Like, I would just love to know, like, what does every guy do in that moment where you can't go work? Some people probably do still. But like for the dads who are like, you're off work, or like, you don't have to work as much or something. You can get an hour in every now and then and whatever you need to do. But like, I would get so much guilty pleasure from hearing guys who are like, oh, I just run a lot. I go swim. I start fixing things. I built something. Because I think I never feel more acutely than during a Christmas break, this thing in me that's like, I have to do, and I'm again, I know women do that too. I'm just saying I only know the male experience.
Yeah.
But it is always like I always love checking in with like, or when I bump into friends and it's about 2 weeks.
Right.
I'm like, what have you been doing? You can see like the eyes twitching.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, and that's why you see them at Home Depot. It's like,
I was just gonna say,
you know what I'm saying? Like
they're at Home Depot. Oh, you're like, you don't really need to be here, do you?
It's just like I'm looking for something to start at my house.
Well. Yeah, and I know, Amy and I, we've been parents now this is our 13th year, and we've been together, for coming up on 19 years. So, like, I feel like just in these last year or two, maybe, I have been like, my little tiny brain has been like, wait a minute, I'm starting to see some patterns.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get ahead of this a little bit. So for me, it really, maybe any given day comes down to what do I need to do to feel good about myself today? Now, of course, what is the truth? The truth is I'm a child of God and all that, and I believe it, but I'm just saying I don't...
Quote, unquote, what do I need to do today to feel good about myself?
I mean, that's true.
It's the nucleus. It's the absolute middle of the human existence.
Yes.
It's like the center of it.
So for me, I'm like, the break is like, I'm not going to try to go work or something. There's no piano. We're going up to Indiana to see family. Like, there's no piano anywhere. So that's off the table. Fine. Then it's like physical exertion. I have to physically exhaust myself.
Yeah.
And that chemically makes the rest of the day so much better.
Yeah.
So if I do that, then that really colors the rest of the day. Like if I get up and it's pouring rain outside,
it's trouble.
I'm doing burpees in a hallway or something like that. But then when we get home, and like you're saying, like that's early in the break.
Yeah.
And so there's still like there's people to see. I want to see my family. It's all great. But then you get into like week 2, and it's like you're home. Christmas is over. You got to take all this stuff down. You took it all down, and then it gets into like I bought a tile cutter. I bought a tile cutter at Home Depot last night. I'm cutting tile.
Yeah, you are. You don't even need the tile in your house. You just bought tile and you bought the tile cutter.
I don't even need it. It can cut. Is
that why you
things.
texted and said, "Do you have any tile?
Do you have any tile just laying around?"
Yeah.
No, there's been a hole next to our shower in our Amy and my bathroom because some water was getting out of the shower and leaking down. And anyway, of course, I ripped up all the like wet drywall.
Yeah.
And then there's a hole there.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Which is so, I mean, not to get too into the weeds about it, but as I think if Amy were here, she would be like, my husband is borderline OCD.
Mm-hmm.
As sort of whatever, disciplined, obsessed. I can leave a hole in my bathroom that I see 10 times a day.
Yeah.
That every time I see it, I feel shame.
Yeah.
But I can keep that hole there for 5 months.
Yeah.
What is that? You know?
Yeah.
And then finally, Christmas break, out of your routine.
Go time.
We're having a sleepover. There are girls everywhere. There's just everything is everywhere. Like they're getting like pots and pans out and they're chasing each other. It's great. I love it. But I'm like, in this environment, I need to control something.
Something in that little hole.
Next thing you know, I'm buying a tile cutter. I'm cutting tile. And I fixed it.
Yeah.
I did it last night.
Yeah.
I put in this water filtration system.
Looks incredible.
I had to go buy this special diamond studded drill bit.
Oh, yeah.
To cut through a marble countertop.
Yeah.
Took me the whole day.
Yeah.
I did it.
I've found that I will sort of keep projects for then.
Yeah.
I'll kind of stockpile little random things I need to get done because I'm like on, December 28th, I'm going to be twitching.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be.
Because, on March 15th or whatever, I don't want to do that.
There's better things to do.
I would rather do this. I'd rather work on this song.
Yes.
But yeah, December 28th.
I found so we pulled out we should have started with this, by the way. I love that we're doing this.
Jason, can you just put this at the front?
Speaking of Back to the Future, could you? But we we needed to pull out built-ins in our playroom, and I was like, "Oh, let's do it over the break," because she was like, "Well, we can." And I was like, "No, that is going to be a." So I pulled out all those built-ins. It was awesome. It was like one of my favorite things I've ever done. It was so fun.
It's like a built-in bench with drawers like around.
It was awesome. It was so much fun pulling that out.
Yeah.
Well, then I used to like burn off our leaves, and it would take forever. And then this year I was like, oh, what's even better? I'm just going to go buy those bags from Home Depot because it actually takes a little while, and I don't mind that it takes a while. And it's much cleaner than me like taking forever to like burn. And so I was like,
how do you burn them?
It's just fire.
But I mean, in what?
In like the solo stoves. I would just kind of get little, and it was so dumb. It took forever. It stunk. It was whatever.
Yeah.
So finally this year I was like, well, because I always thought, well, raking them, it takes long, but it looks better. And I was like, well, what have you got to do? And I was like, I don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
And so it looks so much better. Like all the flower beds are nice and raked out now.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like I found that like once that started, it's like you said. And then I got in a kick where it was like, what else did I do? I had like a few things around the yard that I finally like took care of. Oh, dude. This should be a whole other Dadville, by the way. I'm wondering if we should save this for another thing. I bought one of those Bagsters.
What's that?
The thing that you buy at Home Depot, and it's the thing that was sitting in my driveway.
How is Home Depot not a sponsor of this podcast?
Hamabah.
Oh, it's the picture that you sent me.
Yeah, so it's like it's the little vinyl bag or whatever they're made of that you put in your driveway and you put all your stuff in it and they come and pick it up. Like the waste manager comes and picks it up.
I didn't know that you bought that.
Yes, here's the trick. Here's where they get you. It's only $25 for those bags. But the pickup here in Nashville is like $185. Yes, you can either do your mortgage or have like you know a couple of cabinets picked up in your driveway. But dude, I told Annie, I was like, I think one of my New Year's resolutions or like New Year's Day things maybe for the rest of my life is to go buy one of those things, stick it in the driveway, and just exhume all of that stuff from your house. Yeah. Just like I can't tell you chemically how good it felt.
Yeah.
So one of the things that is like I threw that slide. Remember the kids had that little slide that your girls and we would. Ever tell you that me and the girls used to play on that? My kids and your kids would play on when they were tiny. In the backyard.
I think we have one in the back.
Well, it is. Annie would not let me throw it away. Yeah. Like she was like, well, maybe they'll. The kids are like, it's gonna be like their rehearsal dinners. I'm like, what are we doing?
Like, I don't like the way it makes my mustache feel when I slide down that slide.
And I know in those moments, I know what it is. Annie don't want to let go of memories and all of it. But I literally went around the house and like, what are the things that I've been wanting to throw away? And I put them in there. I paid the kids actually because I loaded it, and then I realized that I'd loaded it so badly I was like misusing space. Mm-hmm. I paid Xana and Ben each $5 to unload it, and then I reloaded it and fit so much more stuff in there. Mm-hmm. But then I went under the porch right here, and it was a treasure trove of things I've ignored.
Yeah.
And which is the name of my next record, actually. But I went in there and just started pulling out all that stuff, and it felt so good.
Why do you think it feels so good?
I think shame for me. I'm like, it's the shame of the hole in the wall. It's like, I don't want to think about that because then I think about how I don't really know how to do that. And so
but the thing with the hole in the wall is like that is it's an eyesore.
Yeah.
And also it looks bad and it represents a thing that you haven't done yet and all that.
Well, that's what it is.
It's just a thing that you haven't done yet.
I should have thrown that stuff away. There was stuff in there that's been there since we moved in this house 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That have just been sitting under there.
And every time you go down there, like under the house, you see it. Yeah.
And so I think
Amy and I, we purged our closet. We got 5
that's
trash
awesome.
bags full of clothes.
Yeah.
From our closet.
Yeah.
And it feels so good. And I'm like, why does that feel so good?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it just, it feels like the fewer items that I have in my possession.
Yeah, the better.
The better.
Yeah.
I don't know
why
that is.
Well, I think for me, they're reminders of things I thought I was going to do that I didn't. Like it's like that the shirt I bought that I never wore, and those pants I never wore those. So it's just like I feel, ugh. And so I think getting rid of that,
it feels wasteful. Maybe
it feels wasteful. That's what it is. But I think I really do think from now on, I think the Bagster thing may really be a thing where we just like, all right, New Year, we're going to take a day or two, go through the house. We're just going to chuck all the stuff that we don't use and don't need. Somebody told me a really great hack for clothes where if you go in your closet, you're supposed to do it on New Year's Day. Turn all of the hangers the same direction.
Yeah. I've heard this.
And at the end of the year, so every time you use something, switch it the other way.
Yeah.
And then you'll find that there are all of these clothes that you never wore.
Yeah.
And if you don't throw them, like not give them away,
Yeah.
And
burn them in a solo stuff.
Well, and it's because you're not going to be burning your leaves. Okay, so to land this plane, what is one of the things you're the most excited about with 2025?
I'm really excited about like sort of creatively. I feel the most sort of healthy and like optimistic, and I'm really excited about this. I mean, this sounds so artist guy with a new record, but I'm halfway through this new record that I'm really excited about, and on the instrumental side, I'm really excited about some new stuff that I'm working on with all that. It just feels great. And I feel so grateful to be 42 years old and feeling this way.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
What I mean? Yeah.
And it's actually like this is still what I do.
Yeah.
So that I feel really excited about, and I also feel really excited about having. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up too high, expectations up too high, but I feel like there are some moments throughout the year that we already have planned with the family, like
Mm.
Amy and the girls and I. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's great.
What about you?
I'm not telling. Thank you guys for listening. It's been a great episode.
And Home Depot,
if you're listening,
the Home Depot.
No, I think. I mean, again, this is where you just said it, and I'll piggyback on it. But I'm doing. So musically, I just announced this today on Instagram, and everybody was just a buzz.
It's a firestorm.
My gosh, it's just
like leaves and clothes.
It is at the beginning of a viral moment.
Yeah, you can feel it
right before the beginning of a viral moment is where we are. But you got me with the leaves that just connected with my. It was a little late, but you got me. I'm gonna. What's the way to say this? I was trying to figure out last year as I was thinking about this year's music. I was like, what I would like to release a lot of music next year. I talked to a lot of my friends in the industry, and they were like, the thing is about releasing music. We've talked about this ad nauseum, off record. And so I was
I've recorded all those.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yep.
great.
I got them.
Because negative people will care about those conversations and what I have to say. But I just found that, because, as I'm getting older, I'm like, hey, where's the industry going? How can I still sort of like try to get music out in creative ways? And it felt like my 2 or 3 friends that work at labels or like do that part, like release of music. They're part of, companies that help artists release music. They were like, you need to be releasing music on a consistent clip, like every, I think they said 4 to 6 weeks. And, I'm still writing my next record, which I think will be another Beatles-inspired thing. And so I was like, well, that's not it. And so I, as I was thinking about this, I was like, man, it would be really – so my thought was, what is music I can release? Do I have that already? That was my next thought. And then I realized there's all this music after I've written, for the last 14 or 15 years professionally as a songwriter for other people, I was like, there's probably like 10 to 15, maybe 20 songs that I love that I wrote with people or for people that just never got released. That either the artist didn't decide to record them, or the people that we pitched the song to, they didn't bite or whatever, which happens all the time. But I just love these songs, and there's songs my kids love, because they'll be like, oh, play that song that you wrote with so-and-so last year, whatever. And so I was like, what if I just release those songs myself? That'd be kind of fun, because they're already written. Yep. A lot of the demos I just used as the finished product, and then the other ones I re-recorded, which was really fun and easy. And so this year, what I'm doing is I'm releasing once a month. It's going to turn into an album called, as we call it in the biz, Waterfall, into an album called The Songs That Got Away. But every month, it's going to be a song like that, like songs that that have been done for forever, but either I re-recorded or just used the demos that we wrote that day, or we used that day. And so I'm really excited about that. That's something that I think will be fun to kind of. Because a lot of them are really not down the middle sort of stuff I do. It's kind of one of the reasons I was excited about it, is because they feel different than my artist stuff does. So, I think that'll be it feels almost like an experiment. It kind of feels like I wonder what people will think, and if Spotify and Apple Music and stuff will like that I'm releasing more music or whatever. But it just feels like a low risk. Thing, which I really love, and high potential reward, because even if
it's like you just remembering like, oh wait, I already made that album.
That's exactly how it feels.
Let's put it out.
That's exactly it. And so I think that I'm really excited about that. I think that'll.
So what's the first one?
It's a song called "Some People's Kids." It actually comes out Friday, so whatever date that is, the Monday is the 14th, December 18th.
Stay with us. Listener, stay with us.
The 10th.
The 10th. There it is.
So that'll be the first one. I wrote that with Parker Welling, who's a good friend, who's written a bunch of hits, and then a guy named Andrew Roberts, who's had One Republic cuts. I mean, they're both just awesome. So, but this song was the song that sort of sparked the whole thing, because my kids are obsessed with this song. Obsessed with it. Always want to listen to it. And so I was like, well, hold on. Like, am I missing something here? And so that sort of was one of the reasons that we did this whole project. So I'm excited about that. I think that'll be fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get a new Dave Barnes track every month.
Listen, I hope that everybody feels that way.
I bet they all go viral.
Oh, they do. Oh, they do. Everybody listen. Let's
have a great year. Is that what you were trying to say?
in my own way.